Thoughts on jump shooting. Accuracy versus power and how those things relate mechanically. This is, we're going to delve into the science. Basketball is super complex. It has many disciplines underneath it, and there's physics and biomechanics involved in that. So you gotta, if you want to be a good basketball player, you need to be studied up here. But I was at the gym today and I was working on my new jump shot and working with some players who hadn't seen my new jump shot, and they're like, giving me feedback. And I also worked with a really good shooter. This guy was an ex-AAU player, ex-high school player. He just plays pickup now, but his shot is just awesome. And I got some sweet talking to him about how to make my shot better. So let's talk about mechanics. Your power base comes from your elbow being underneath your ball, the ball. Because if you imagine where your power is coming from, right? That's where it's coming from, right? There's shots that are like this, but this is not nearly as powerful a motion as this, right? And they say that power should come from the legs. That's not really true, because you want power coming from the upper body too. And the way to have that upper body power is the elbow being directly under the ball, which is how Steph Curry shoots, right? He doesn't. His elbow doesn't deviate more than like 5 degrees, and he has a tremendously powerful jumper, really quick release, massive amounts of range, and power and arc because he keeps this thing. Well, what is our accuracy base? I think our accuracy base is having our hand facing the basket, right? If my hand is facing this way and then I shoot, it makes it really hard, right? Or if my hand is facing this way, or we want our hand facing the basket, okay? So here's the two forces we have. We have our elbow underneath the ball and our hand facing the basket. Well, I would love to shoot as Steph Curry shoots with my elbow directly under the ball, as would probably a lot of NBA players who don't do it. You see a lot of NBA players who shoot bowed, shouldered. A lot of good ones even. Kobe, right? Manu Ginobili, all various players. Why do they do that? Well, for me, I can't pronate my wrist fully. If I'm like this, my elbow is directly under, my hand's facing this way, the basket's there, my elbow's facing this way. So a lot of shooters, and the best ones, their wrist will turn all the way like this, naturally, and they're able to have their max power base and their max accuracy base. Does that make sense? But for a lot of players, myself included, I need to choose one way or the other, because if I'm shooting like this, I have a lot of power, but my hand is facing this way, and I am readjusting at the end, and it could go off wide left or right. But if I'm having my hand face the basket, my elbow is going out. There's just not a way around that. There's just not a way around it, right? I'm opening my hand, and then I'm giving up a fair amount of power, right? So that's something to think about. If you have the ability for your wrist to pronate fully, that's sweet. Shoot like Steph Curry, a lot of us can't. And we need to choose between accuracy and power. And it's not actually that obvious. Like, we probably want to go for accuracy because if your shot isn't that accurate, like, you shouldn't be shooting, right? But also, we need that as a guard especially. It's really nice to have a three-point shot. So if you don't have a three-point shot, it might be worth sacrificing a little bit of accuracy for power. So it's not obvious, and it's something to think about, and I challenge you to think about how your power base and your accuracy base will line up. Do you have the ability to pronate your wrist fully? If you do, it's going to be much easier for you, and if you don't, that's fine. Don't focus on that so much, because there's lots of NBA players who don't, and they become great players anyways. But if you're not physically equipped with the tools to be the best shooter that ever lived, you can still be a good shooter, you can still be a great basketball player. So those are my thoughts on the science and the mechanics between having our sacrificing power for accuracy.